Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I'm here with the unboxing of the Realme GT6, a high mid-range phone with flagship killer abilities and new AI technology. It's just been unveiled and the price should be around $600 or $700, and now the motto is make it real. Realme has decided to change its motto recently to make it real. What I didn't change is the color calibration, color choices, which is still black and yellow. Now the handset is shown to us in this color, basically silver, with a brand new area here which has a mirror finish, so you can take selfies and apply makeup if you're part of the feminine audience. You can see that it draws a bit of fingerprints, but we do have a bundled case in the box, so that solves the problems. Okay, so let's fire it up and see what the interface is like, what the AI features are like, and some first impressions. Okay, as it boots, I'm going to show you what's inside the box. So, in this envelope here, we have the following. Starting off with this list of specs: Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, 6000 nits of brightness for the screen, and a Sony Lithia 808 main camera, plus super fast 120 watt charging. This is the key used to access the nano slim card slots. We do not have a micro SD, and also this case, which has quite the camera window and increased grip for the phone. Plus this manual and quick guide. This is the quick guide and this is the manual, and if you look through the quick guide, you should be aware or become aware of the SAR value if you're all about the radiation and protection and things like that. So I see that the SAR values here are below 2 watts per kilogram for the head and below 2 watts per kilogram for the body. I wish they were more specific, but I'm sure there's a code to get to learn that. Okay, also in the box there's the charger with an USB-A connector. It has Super VOOC technology, and it does charging at 120 watts. You're supposed to charge up the phone at about 50% or more in just 10 minutes. And finally the cable, a pretty thick and beefy cable from USB-C to USB-A. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. Now let's focus on the phone, and here we are. This is the Realme GT6 with one of the brightest screens on the market. As I said before, it's supposed to be 6000 nits or something like that. This is called a nano mirror design. It gets a mirror area here at the back side which draws fingerprints. The back side should be covered with glass. We should also have a metal frame here, and the device is quite easy to wield. It feels a bit heavy if you ask me. It's 199 grams in weight and measures 8.6 millimeters in thickness. So there's glass at the front with Gorilla Glass Victus protection. There's a metal frame and glass at the back as well, with, I would say, quite good looking design. The colors include silver, green and purple. This is AG glass at the back side, just so you know, with a dual finish. There's a matte finish and there's the glossy finish, so there's something for everything. Okay, so I would say that's about it design wise. Oh, by the way, almost forgot that we're also getting IP65 certification, which means that the phone is dust and water resistant. Now, as far as the screen is concerned, we are treated here to a panel which is an OLED. It's a 6.78-inch panel, quite generous in diagonal, with a resolution of 2780 over 1264 pixels. It has a 10-bit panel, HDR10 Plus support, Dolby Vision, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 and 120Hz refresh rate, and guess what? It even has LTPO technology, so it can drop down to 1 Hz when you're not watching or playing something intensive. Plus, eye protection is here with the SGS AI Eye Protection certification. Now, with this screen seeming pretty satisfying, I think it's time to address the innards of the phone, and for that we may have to install the IDA app. Even though you can probably also learn some specs from the settings of the phone. So, with IDA installed, you open it up and see the CPU is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. It's basically a lieutenant for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, like the Snapdragon 870 was for the 888. I've seen this processor before on the Motorola H50 Ultra and the Honor 200 Pro. This time we also have a vapor chamber for improved gaming, and also this time we have quite a bit of RAM. It says here that we have 16 gigs of RAM, which is quite impressive. Plus you can add an extra 12 from this special feature in the settings. The storage is half a terabyte and it's UFS 4.0. Once again, there is no micro SD, just so you know, and I'm really curious to see if what I said before gets confirmed. You can actually see the specs here, not only in the area before. And this is the area with the whole RAM thing. We can increase it, RAM expansion, by 12 gigs. Okay, we go further than that and I can show you the battery capacity. It's a 5500 mAh unit. Nowadays, companies are going past 5000, closer to 6000. It charges at 120 watts via wire. You're supposed to reach 50% in 10 minutes. The phone doesn't have an audio jack, as you can see for yourself. But it does have stereo speakers. This is speaker number 1, and here at the top side there's speaker number 2, basically the earpiece. We don't have a speaker here at the top side. What we do have is an infrared emitter used to control the TV set. The phone also comes with 5G connectivity, a 360-degree NFC, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4, GPS dual band, BDS, Galileo, QZSS, Navi, GLONASS and the works, and an USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom side. There's a fingerprint scanner in the screen. It's of the optical variety and it's around here, this area. Now, as far as the sensors are concerned, the handset provides you with stuff like accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity sensor, compass, and a color spectrum sensor. And finally, more interesting things here, there's a selfie camera cut in the screen with a 32 megapixel resolution and a 4K filming. On the back side, there's a triple camera, which includes a 50 megapixel main sensor with a Sony Lithia 808 with phase detection autofocus, optical image stabilization, and a generous f1.69 aperture. There's an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera with f2.2 aperture and 112 degrees, and a telephoto camera with 50 megapixel resolution and a not very clear level of zoom. My guess is that about 2x should do it. 4K 60 frames per second and dual LED flash are here as well. A pretty small flash, I'll have to say. Now, if you go into the camera interface, you will see quite a few options which are familiar if you've seen a Realme phone before. There's high resolution, taking photos in maximum resolution, like 50 megapixels, slow motion, dual view video, group portrait, pro, movie, long exposure, starry mode, night mode, panorama, time-lapse, text scanner, and tilt shift. This is the portrait department with 2x or 1x zoom, leading me to believe that you actually have a 2x optical zoom camera. This is the photo area where you can actually capture action mode things. You can play with the exposure as shown here. And there are 3 levels of zoom, up to 4x, which looks quite okay. In the video department, you can swap this option for a bokeh video. Okay, and you can then go back to a regular video and you can see here the resolution. You can go up to 4K 60 frames per second. There's HDR video and there's even ultra steady video in full HD 60 frames per second. Finally, the street mode, if you're into urban settings and you can apply a bunch of filters for artistic shots. We have this here for the, well, I think it's the focus if I'm not mistaken. Then we have the auto zoom, which actually automatically focuses on the subject without you having to move the phone, like I just did right now. And then we have the exposure once again. Plus there's a special AI night mode, which actually increases what you can do in a very dark scenario. Okay, so a bunch of quick mentions here. I should probably mention that the main sensor of the camera is the Sony Lithia 808. It measures 1/1.4 of an inch. The telephoto camera has a Samsung GN5 sensor, and you can do 4K 30 frames per second capture in Dolby Vision and 4K 30 frames per second capture in AI night mode. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so as far as the software is concerned, it's Android 14 with Realme UI 5.0 on top. It has image recognition and also something called AI Smart Loop. It's similar to the Honor Magic Portal. So if I'm on a website here and, for example, I want to select a bunch of text, I can actually do the selection, keep it pressed and drag it to the side, send it to my file doc, notes, maps or lens. I could actually send it to maps if it were a text message, so you can actually find it on the map. And this area actually can be increased with multiple apps. So that's the smart loop. Of course, if you like what you see here, if you like this image, for example, you can take a screenshot. Let's maybe try it again with a screenshot. Okay, and then keep it pressed like this. And maybe drag it to the side here and do a lens search in Google Lens. It found the phone and it found the related searches, and that's how you deal with it. It's basically a way of contextual interaction with text and images. And the AI Smart Loop feature can be found here in the settings. You can go to special features. You have the AI Assistant, which has screen recognition. So basically you can keep your finger pressed on the screen to recognize images, and you can do the Smart Loop where you can share content, text, video or files to bring it up. And these are the applications which are compatible, quite a few of them, from VLC, Notes, Facebook, Chrome. So yes, you can send a bit of text to Facebook in order to make a post, send it to Chrome, send it to YouTube to search it, and so forth. Once again, much like the Honor Magic Portal. Other smart features include smart sensing, which basically includes air gestures like this, moving your fingers in front of the camera. You can make gestures in apps, and you can also make gestures 20 or 40 centimeters from the front camera to control the phone. You can also learn the gestures. So if you want to learn how to open an app, okay, hold your index finger straight up in front of the screen. Oh, you can see the dot moving. That's cool. And the app will be open. You can hold it up 1 second to confirm the operation. And that's how you open an app. How you scroll on a page, go something like this. Hold your palm up with the finger pointing up and flick your hand down. Takes a bit getting used to, I'll admit it. I never was a fan of this, even on the Galaxy S4 back in the day, or the Nexus phones. So yeah, better find a palm and flick it down. Anyway, not a big fan of this. I'll continue the regular usage. Things are just getting started. And we have dedicated around 4 games, which means improvement when you're doing some gamings. You can also have split view, so you can do multitasking with a split view. Floating window, quick return. You can quickly go back to an app in full screen or in a floating window. And you also have a smart sidebar, which I'm sure you already know. The smart sidebar should be here. Aside from the usual features, you have here also a file dock where you can save text or photos for future usage. And aside from that, there's also this kids mode, simple mode, and a riding mode. So if you're a biker, this is especially for you. And finally, there's also the lab area, Realme Lab, where you have the dual mode audio. You can connect a pair of headphones and wired headphones. A heart rate measurement is also here, using the fingerprint scanner to measure your pulse. Okay, and a few more features. So for example, if you want to do some optimization here, you have this area here with the phone manager. You can scan for viruses, you can clean up the storage, you can have payment protection, you can have your tools, and there's also infrared remote here at the top side, and a bunch of games with instant games and all sorts of features and things to trigger. There's gaming data, there's settings. You basically have a game toolkit on the side of the screen, which even has to deal with performance, frame rate, and well, capture. Once again, the core here of the experience for me is most likely the whole smart loop thing. So yeah, you can probably once again mess with the smart loop area and select a bunch of text, press it, drag it to the side, either way, save it to the file dock for later usage, sync your content, and just then move it to your notes, for example. You can actually also use a password and a Realme account to keep things private, and well, that's about it. Okay, so in a nutshell, this has been the unboxing of the Realme GT6 with a focus on AI. There's also a special AI night capture mode, there's a special AI smart loop mode, and the other AI features related to the functioning of the handset. I'm not very sure if you have generative wallpapers, so we have a customization for wallpapers, icons, widgets, layout, and transition. So if you go to wallpapers here, you'll see the recent, album, workshop, live, static, and more. Probably AI should also come here for generative tasks. Okay. That's been the first contact, a rather expanding unboxing. I like the backside and I love the promising camera features, which I'm going to test for you and be back with more details in a full review pretty soon. That's it from GSMDome.com. Goodbye.